So this is about 7 years ago. I was trying to get into my dream college back then, Tata Institute of Social Sciences. My profile was excellent. My written was good. My GD was great. And the PI is the worst part in Tata Institute. Everything depends on your PI, unlike other colleges. PI is the main thing, your personal interview. The panel is extremely scary. 5 people, grey hair, oldies, experts, PhDs, sitting there. And the freakiest part is there is one guy who's a psychologist who does nothing but stares at you. Can you imagine how creepy that is? And obviously it throws off people. And I'm not kidding, guys. I was waiting for my turn, shit nervous, waiting for my turn, and people are coming out tears in their eyes, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little good because, okay, this person is crying, that means you know how it is, right? We're competing and we're sort of happy that, I know it's bad, but this person is crying, so definitely rejected, which means I got that seat still open. So anyways, luckily for me, they asked me something about social psychology, and that was my favorite field anyway. I started giving them the history of social psychology. It was the most brilliant answer they've ever got, I'm sure. I actually stood up and drew an experiment for them. I knew the experimenter's name, I knew the methodology, I knew the critique, I knew the limitations, I knew the entire journals. And suddenly, those times when things are going perfect and suddenly something happens. So the guy asked me this very simple question. Those simple questions you're supposed to know, but you never think about those questions. Like, the Three Idiots movie where that person asked him, what is a machine? Like, it's a simple question. Why would you know the definition of a machine, right? Everyone knows what a machine is. So this guy goes, okay, Animesh, what is an attitude? And that is a very basic concept in psychology. So basic that I didn't worry about it, right? And I was doing very well. I was answering all questions. So I said, yeah, sir, attitude is shit, fuck, I'm so screwed, right? But I had to say something. So the next 10 seconds I spoke, I cannot remember to this day what I spoke, but all I remember is his facial expressions. Every single second that I gave that answer, his facial expressions became all the more constipated. Okay. And then they asked me some other question which I answered really well. And I came out of the interview, everyone was amazed. They're like, shit, you spent 40 minutes, everyone was laughing, you're definitely in. I was like, yeah, I know I'm definitely in. But guess what? They rejected me. And I finally, after a couple of years, I did a workshop with Tata Institute for Masters in Social Work students. And I met up with the professor and I asked them. And I got to know the answer. I mean, I sort of knew before, but I realized that they didn't want people who talk shit. So the most important words I learned was I should have just said, I don't know. Now, this runs so deep in our blood. It's such a taboo in India to never say those words. For example, you ask 16-year-olds, what do you want to do with your life? A 16-year-old, what do you want to do with your life? Mom, I don't know. What? Shh. How can you not know? 3 choices हैं, इतना simple है. Arts लेना है, arts तो खैर मतलब चलो ठीक है. Commerce, science, pick कर लो ना, क्या tension है? It becomes such a big controversy, like how my kid doesn't know what they want to do. All the geniuses of the world take a long time. Einstein for 10 years was just working on his theories of relativity. He didn't actually publish that for a long time. But for some reason in India, unlike abroad, people are shocked when you say those words. And it creates a lot of pressure. And so we try to hide this fact that we don't know a lot of things. कभी किसी को directions पूछे हैं रास्ते पे? You ask people for directions? The reason I put Socrates is, anyone knows his story? So he was considered the wisest person in the world at that time. And everyone came up to Socrates and said, Socrates, you're the wisest person in the world. Socrates, you're the wisest person in the world. Socrates like, what the hell is this fuss about? Let me just check. So he took a long journey around the countryside and whatnot, came back and said, guys, you know what, you're right. I am the wisest person. But you know why I'm the wisest person? Is because everyone claims to know everything. At least I claim to know nothing. So had I learned from that, I think I would have probably easily cracked the interview there at that time. Same thing happens with stress interviews, guys. There's such a big deal that's made about stress interviews. All you gotta do is just say, I don't know. Interviews are not that hard. All you gotta do is make a decision. You get a question, make a decision. Do I know this answer or do I not know this answer? If you're supposed to know that answer, you owe the interviewer an apology at least. Sir, you're right, I should know this. I'm sorry, I don't. Why don't you ask me this other stuff instead? I go to, when I go to colleges, I do mock interviews with students. It's really funny when I do mock interviews with marketing students, people who want to get into marketing, and ask them some finance question. They will take the bait and start answering. And they will dig themselves in a deeper hole. Like, why do you want to do that? You're a marketer. You're not even supposed to know the 4 P's if you're a marketing guy. You're 21 years old, you're whatever. It's okay. Tell me something you know in the world. That's it. People don't want right answers, but that's not something that we've been brought up with. We need to know the answers, is what we've been brought up with.